Hey everybody, I wanted to take a quick look of how to navigate the Ivy Tech library and specifically the database search features. So if you log into the library and you go to the library's homepage, I happen to be on Indianapolis this here, but each regional campus has their own page. It all ends up in the same place. So you might see a different name up here. When you get here, you have a lot of different options. So first off, you have this right here. And this is like the quick general search of the library itself, right? So I can type in some search term and hit search, and off we go. And what this is going to do is this is going to search all of the library's actual holdings. Okay. So everything that we have, and I just use lung cancer as an example. Here we see like different books and things that the library has access to. Now you'll notice under the entries, it will list where this book is located. Like this one here happens to be in Bloomington. But let's say that you're at the Evansville campus and you're like, oh, I really need this book. If you go to the library and you let them know, like, this is what I'm looking for, this is where it's at, they can have a copy of that forwarded to your campus. It does take a few extra days, right? It does take a couple extra days. So you have to be kind of thinking about that. But this is kind of a good starting point for you if you're looking for like books, and things like that, or other kinds of physical materials. They also, you'll notice here, sometimes we'll get like some ebooks, like this one here is an ebook in which you'd be able to go and look at that online. Now, some of those books will require an additional login, so you just have to kind of follow along with the prompts as you go along. Going back to the library's homepage, you'll see that there's a lot of different kinds of information here. For instance, under the citing sources, you get templates, you get some writing tools. Noodle Tools is one of those online citation generators that we talked about before. Under library guides, again, we've got a lot of different guides that the library has produced for people in specific areas or specific needs. They're really handy. They're very specific to a particular category. So that's a nice place to start. Under here, under the A to Z resources, and I'm just going to go to that full page and look at all of those. So these are the online resources that the library has access to. Now, all major colleges and universities have something similar to this. And what these are is these are services that curate big chunks of information, right? Articles, journal articles, news articles, clippings, pictures, photos, videos, whatever. There's lots and lots and lots of these things, right? And then they're categorized by, and a library can subscribe to a particular database, and they have like a particular focus, right? Like for instance, if you scroll down here, here's one about biographies, right? And then there's some here about census or consumer health, communications, so all major fields have their own. The one that's going to be the most useful for you, and by the way, they do have it by type here or by subject. So if you were looking for like a particular area, the one that's going to be the most useful for you is this one here, the Academic Search Complete. Okay. And what that is that is like the biggest general collection that we have access to, right? Now, you might, if you go to like your library, and it will come up a page looks like this once you click on it. If you go to like your local library and you're like, I need help researching, or maybe you've used it before, inspire.in.gov or inspire.net. Both of them will get you to the same place. You will see it looks very similar to this. EBSCO, which is, if you look at the web address up here, you'll see EBSCO. EBSCO is like a database company, and they manage all of this stuff, right? And the thing is about these databases is that these databases collect all this stuff, but there's no like list format, or like they're not in like specific little folders, right? Like they just dump all this stuff in these silos, and then the database knows how to find stuff, right? And so we want to use this, or we will use this EBSCO to manage that interface. All right, so I'm going to type in lung cancer here as a general search. And you do have some options over here. You can look by title or author, subject. Now, I don't recommend doing this on the first run because, again, you do start to really look at things that are very specific, right? So I would leave it wide open for at least the first time through, right? And then we do have these options here. You have these Boolean operators and or not. So like lung cancer and treatment, or lung cancer, not cost, right? Like there, you can limit these kinds of things down. Okay. Now I am going to go to this feature here, this advanced feature. And here's where you can really start to do a lot of manipulation and limiting or narrowing down of your search, right? To make it a much more productive search. The one that I really recommend that you use is this right here, the full text. Now, it should come up checked automatically as default. What that does is that allows you to read the article right here. Now, some of the libraries, some of the databases will have an article in one database, but not in another. And so, you have sometimes 2 or 3 access points to it. You might be able to find like the abstract in one database, but you can't get to it in that one. So you have to go find it in another one, or you have to go to the library to be able to access that, right? So I always like to use that one. Now, the peer-reviewed one, so we talk about journal articles. Journal articles are what we call peer review, which means that like experts in that field review the information before it is printed or published, okay? And that is always a good one to use. One thing to think about though, again, unless you're specifically looking for journal articles, that will take out all of your newspaper and magazine type articles. So for your first run, that may not be the best one. We can come over here and we can check the publishing date. We can limit it to just like the past 10 years, or you want things that are like 40 years ago, whatever. You can do those kinds of things to help limit that. All right, I'm going to do my search here. And I didn't change any settings on this one for now. Again, for the first time through, it's probably best not to, okay? And then here we go. So we got our entries. Now, entries are going to come in one of 2 fashions here. So first off, it could be as an HTML full text. Now, HTML full text just means that you get just the text. Basically, it's like a copy and paste, right? So here's all the text, right? Here's just the text as it was originally printed, okay? All the things that they wrote about. Or I could get the PDF version. If I can pull that one up here for you. You can get the PDF version. And this is what it looked like originally printed. So this will have like colors and graphs and charts and pictures and all of that information as it was originally done, okay? Again, the PDF is nice because you do get to see all that extra material. You do have to kind of think about like, is that going to be the most manageable? Sometimes these files are bigger, right, than the actual just plain HTML files. But you look for the one that works best for your situation, okay? I'm going to go back to our entry here again. Okay, so let's just go to this entry. Let's just assume that this was a source that we really thought was going to be useful. So when you open it up, you're going to see all the information, about the article, right? You get all the authors, you get where it was originally published and when. These subject terms here are really handy. So sometimes you will be doing a search and you're just not having much luck, right? Like you just can't find what you're looking for. Sometimes it's because you just maybe are using the wrong words or not the most exact, precise words for your search, right? And so sometimes that might be helpful for you to go look and see like, how did they categorize that? The abstract, so if it's a journal article or a longer work, you'll get like a summary in the abstract, and then you'll get any of the other additional information you need. Once you find the sources that you like, you have some options. So for those of you that are Google Drive people, if you click this button, it will send it to your Google Drive. It'll make a copy and send it to your Google Drive. If you do this, it will create a folder in your Google Drive called EBSCO, E-B-S-C-O. You do have to be kind of careful with this one because sometimes there's some translation issues. And so instead of getting like the text of the article, sometimes you get symbols or some of the coding issues. You could send it to your OneDrive. You could also add this to your folder. Okay, and if you add it to your folder, it pops up here in this little place right here. And if you go into it, it'll have like all the articles that you add to that folder, right? Anything that you add in there. Okay. By the way, before I forget, once you're in your folder, you could like select all of them. Let's say we had 4 of them here. And then from here, you could print them all at once or email or save them, as you need to, right? Like what works best for you. Okay. You do have the option to print straight from here. This is the best button I love right here, which is the citation button, right? This creates the citation for you. Okay. So right here is your APA reference. You would just copy it, paste it, and away you go, right? Super simple. Now, I would suggest you definitely need to double check them, right? These are just machine generated, right? There's not some person manually creating these, okay? So you do have to be kind of careful of that, right? But they are very close and they're generally very right. One other option here to look at is this permalink option. And what this will do is this will give you like, this is like the permanent link, like the link that will get you exactly to this article. If you grab the web link across the top, you're not going to find it because that'll take you back to your search, right? This one will bring you straight back to this one particular article. Now that's important to note because I'm signed into my account here. And so if I add it into my folder or if I repeat my search, I'm going to end up in the same place, right? But if you're not logged in, you're going to lose all that information when you log out or when you close it and you leave to another website. So you'll want to have that permanent link if you're trying to get back to the exact article. But again, if you're logged in and you save it to your folder or you do that citation, you should be fine. If you have any questions about how to use the library website, please make sure you're reaching out. Also, you can reach out to your local library campus. They will be able to help you as well. Plus, they have some more video tutorials of how to use these. So good luck.